label attached to them, we can kind of segue them into different environments inside the educational environment. And so those are the students that get put in what do you call those classes?
SPED classes. But even that is done by design. See this thing that people don't get about privilege. It's a privilege not to go to those classes when you don't need them. That's a privilege,
man.
It's a privilege.
I think about how close I was, to getting that label, because I was in third grade. No. I was in fourth grade. Miss Anderson. No, Miss Anderson. No, Miss Thompson. Excuse me. Miss Anderson. She was a sweet lady. But anyway, Miss Thompson. She said that I was really talkative. I was really disruptive. I wouldn't stay in my seat. Things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I'm 8 years old. 10. I want to say 10. Anyway, so we had a big, student conference, student teacher parent conference. It was me, my two parents, the principal, and the teacher. And so Miss Thompson, she's going about, telling all of the things that, I do and don't do in class. And so my dad, he was quiet the whole meeting. He had one question. He said, well, does he have anything to do? Because it seemed like he got a whole bunch of time on his hands, and by his report cards, it don't look like he's missing work. So what's the issue? Does he have enough work to do? Well, he has the same amount of work that the other kids do. Oh, okay, but the thing is, the long story short, as we figured out, I was finishing faster, quicker than the other students.
Sound just like me,
right? So, to me, that sounded like a good thing. Oh, okay, we have a student who's doing well in class. He's finishing on time. The work is correct or whatever. We got some people asking about the live stream.
We cut it out. I mean, hey, this is the thing about that.
It's all funneling, people. It's all funneling. I'm gonna go ahead and contact them about the live stream. We'll apologize. But anyway, long story short, I was finishing quicker than the other students. And so what my mom said is, well, how about you just give him more work to do? Like, obviously he needs something, to engage his mind. Lo and behold, the next 2 weeks, I had more work than everybody else. Sure, I was pissed off because everybody else is now finishing. But I still had work to do.
But you know what, Josh? This the thing about that. We're talking about privileges today. We're talking about representation. Privilege. Do you feel like that it's much easier to educate kids who look and act and behave like you? Are you feeling what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you.
That's a privilege.
Yep.
It's a privilege for me to be in a education system where majority of the teachers look and act like me because they know my behavior.
Yep.
So my behavior doesn't look foreign.
It doesn't look foreign. Like, I don't have to question, like, why are you doing this, or why did you, or what does this mean? Like, because
that's a privilege.
Even within our sub communities, like, yes, we're all integrated, but we have our different communities, and if you deny that, then you're denying the truth.
Yeah.
So even in our sub communities, we have different language sets, right? We call it Ebonics, what we speak. The African American community, and then you have correct English as it's framed in the white communities.
You know what? It's a privilege to not have your vernacular question. To not have your vernacular question, because even when you do that, you are literally giving up a piece of yourself to fit into a system that's not yours.
Why should I assimilate? Why do black and brown children be required to assimilate into a system that at its face says that it's for these black and brown children? Huh? Where's the line that we draw?
That's a privilege, though. Like,
that's a privilege.
Again, like we're, and I keep saying it's a privilege because these are things that people don't think about.
Yeah.
And then their response is, why don't you just work hard? Do you really? I want people to understand this. Do you understand how much harder work it is to code switch? Like, bruh, we've mastered code switching.
Yeah, we've mastered it, but
I didn't even think about this until a few months ago. I'm like, I could profit off of code switching.
Yeah.
Only because I code switch and you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Because I'm switching to your code.
You can be you throughout your existence.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you like this. When example of code switching. When I was young, that's the same thing my dad and my mom told me. It's like, Josh, you're gonna have to work 2 and 3 times harder than the next man, the white man, to be even.
To be even.
Oh,
man. I'm gonna let you finish this.
So I'm like, okay, well, subconsciously now, understand, because I didn't do this consciously. Subconsciously, I know that if I'm talking to Caucasian people, I need to act and sound like them for me to be accepted, right? For my knowledge base, for my skill set to be given any credence or value, right? So when I get on the phone and I'm on let's say I'm doing a phone interview or whatever. When I answer the phone, I sound like me, right? But then I didn't notice this until some years ago when this organization, they actually said outright, "Hey, you're really not what we expected." I said, "No." He's like, "No, we expected this tall white guy to walk in." I said, "A tall white guy." Now, if y'all know me in real life, I'm 5'5", 5'6" on a good day, and I'm definitely not white. Okay, so me walking into this interview, 5'6", black male. No, I didn't fit I didn't fit their schema. And understand, because I didn't sound like the typical black male, right? I guess because I'm well spoken, my diction is above average, I would say.
But you know what? It's really just finding the fact that we have to code switch. See, I want to call it privilege at this point. Mm-hmm. The fact that we have to code switch to even fit in, for people to listen to our ideas, it's a privilege for you not to have to do that.
Yeah,
it's a privilege for you to always be able to stand up and say that I have the right answer, and no one questions you.
Yeah, because
of the color of your skin.
And that's crazy.
That's a privilege.
Yep.
So representation is one. Number two, let's move to the next one, because I think the next one that's a privilege is economics.
Yep.
You're privileged economically.
Yep. I mean, on just like we said, just on the basis of getting a job, you're more likely to be hired. And I don't know. I have to look at the stats, but I would say definitely more so that disparity is apparent more so in the Bible Belt than anywhere else in the United States.
I said, no, and I'm gonna say this,
and I only say that because of the demographic disparities, because now we have more of a minority population here outside of California, maybe, because once you get past Oklahoma, it's definitely predominantly white.
Yeah, but see, the North has a way of making things look like everything is cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I'm not saying that it's.
But it's like when you go past that gateway city,
mm-hmm.
the gateway switch city or whatever, the North is good at making stuff look good, but it's not all that good. You know what I'm saying? Like you still get beat by the pencil.
Oh yeah.
And look, I don't have a defeatist attitude by any means. So if anyone is like, he sound defeated, no. This is just truth.
Yeah.
This is just truth. So with that, with that truth, what you all have to understand as well is once you understand that you are privileged, we can stop this notion of saying that you're not, mm-hmm. or saying that we only got to work harder. Hard work is just one part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
So with economics, you can go to the bank and get a loan.
Mm-hmm.
People say, well, credit scores are no. There's been, I can name a number of banks. You're going to go look at the Wells Fargo case where people of color were, I'm going to say demonized. They had the credit score and everything, but they mm-hmm. were the wrong color.
Right.
This is documented. If you want to go back further and look back further, where you can see that people, when you first got out of slavery, essentially, or before slavery started, white people were given land to have slaves.
Given land.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. You given land to have slaves. Then after slavery happened.
Hold up. So you mean to tell me? See, my mind is like, this is essentially the same as somebody handing me a business that profits $1 million annually, right? And I only equate that to this because if I have the land that's meant, to grow crop, let's just call it cotton. I have land to grow cotton, right? Now I've been given laborers to work said land free of charge. What am I spending money on? What are my expenditures at this point?
Nothing.
Zero?
Nothing.
Right, so my overhead is nothing, right?
The only thing you got to pay for is a slave, for the slaves. And once you pay for the slaves, you done.
Yeah, so that one-time purchase.
Yeah, and I don't know what, we'll have it next week. I don't know how much a slave costs, but...
I mean, it varied. It varied between, how old they were, if they were male, female, basically how much work we could get out of them.
Yeah.
I really didn't even want to
but that's good.
How much work could they get out of them?
Yeah, because even at that, I wasn't personally reading this book, but I was being informed about this book called Sapien. Black people were made slaves because we don't want to handle the heat.
Yeah,
they had white slaves before.
Oh yeah, and so they couldn't make it.
Hey, so y'all look, that's a privilege.
Wow. The fact that you were physically incapable of working in the fields is a privilege. Wow. That's crazy. That's great. And then I hear and somebody told me that. I was like, oh no, there were white slaves too. Where, Sway? Where?
How long?
Where were they?
Hey, can you all hear me? This is Kevin.
Because we know in Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi, Florida, it gets pretty hot.
Hey, this is, Kevin.
It gets pretty hot. So obviously they needed melanated people that could withstand the heat, and that's definitely what melanin does. It's a natural sunscreen, a UV blocker. I mean, it does a multitude of other things, but especially it blocks out the toxins of too much sunlight. And so, if a Caucasian person stands out in the sun too long, they experience what's called sunburn, right? And that's an extreme skin irritation, right? So literally what that means is the sun kills them. Like that's when they develop melanoma and all of these, skin cancers and issues, with their, I want to say their adrenal systems or something like that. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the biological makeup of a Caucasian, but I do know that the sun literally kills them once they stand out in it too long, right? So I'll tell you like this. If we want to talk about things that are natural to this earth, let's question that. Because everything on this earth can survive outside.
And man, but I think you just broke down. These privileges that we're talking about are sometimes biological.
They're biological. I mean, point blank. So literally, because my skin has pigment
and melanin.
Yeah,
melanin protects you. You absorb the sun.
I make a better outdoor worker.
You absorb the sun. Like your skin absorbs the sun.
I'll tell you, and I noticed this when I was a child, and I would go outside in the summer, clearly during summertime or whatever, and I play outside. And I come back in and I would notice it's noticeably different. I'm darker than I was, in the time that I went outside than the time I came in. Oh, okay, so the sun makes me darker. Okay, now let's switch. If I was Caucasian, I couldn't do that. My skin would turn red, pink. I start peeling. It would literally hurt to touch me. Right? So